He had everything: a home rooted in the hills of Judea, a name known with honor, a table that was never empty, and a father whose love was as steady as the sunrise. Yet even abundance can feel like a cage to a restless heart, and sometimes the ache for more can drown out gratitude for what already exists. This is a story about a choice that shattered a family, about a road that led far from home, about hunger that stripped a soul bare. But above all, it is a story about a father, one whose love defied every expectation, every custom, every rule of dignity, a love that waits, a love that runs, a love that restores. Long before loss ever touched their household, before regret carved its deep lines, there was a night of wonder. On the evening his younger son turned 7, the father carried the boy up the narrow steps to the rooftop. The stone beneath their feet still held the warmth of the day. Above them the sky stretched endlessly, black velvet scattered with countless stars. The boy leaned against his father's chest, small fingers pointing upward. "Count them," the father said softly. "When you feel lost, look up. The same stars that watched over your grandfather watch over you. They will always guide you home." The child tried. He reached 43 before sleep claimed him. His breathing slowed, his body relaxed, trusting. The father did not move. He stayed there until the first light of dawn brushed the horizon, unwilling to release a moment he did not know he would one day miss so fiercely. That was 11 years ago. The estate still spread wide across the rolling land, olive groves twisting with age, vineyards heavy with fruit, wheat fields glowing gold beneath the sun. It was good land, blessed land, yet the house itself felt quieter, hollowed by absence. The boy's mother had been gone for 16 years, taken suddenly by fever when the youngest was still learning to walk. Grief had settled into the father like dust, but he buried it in labor and devotion. He became both father and mother, shepherd and teacher, anchor and shelter. The older son grew like the land itself, solid, dependable, rooted. He rose before dawn, worked until his hands ached, spoke little and asked for nothing. The soil beneath his feet was enough. The younger son was different. He carried his mother's eyes, eyes that searched beyond the horizon. While his brother tilled fields, he wandered to the hill where the road began, watching traders pass with tales of distant cities and foreign wonders. At night, he lingered on the rooftop long after the house had gone dark, staring west as if the sunset itself were calling his name. The father saw it all. He always did. One evening, he joined his son on the roof. The boy's gaze was fixed on the bleeding sky. "Still counting stars?" the father asked quietly. "No," the boy replied quietly. "I'm counting places I've never seen." The father's chest tightened. He recognized that longing. He had seen it once before, in the woman he loved, before she learned to call this land home. He placed a hand on his son's shoulder, knowing even then that love alone might not be enough to make him stay. 3 days later, the unthinkable happened. The father sat in the courtyard repairing a fishing net as he had countless times before. The morning was ordinary. Birds sang. The olive trees whispered in the breeze. In the distance, the older son worked the fields. A shadow fell across the stones. "Father, I need to speak with you." The father looked up, smiling, until he heard the weight in his son's voice. "I want my share of the inheritance, now." The net slipped from the father's hands. Inheritance was given when a father died. To ask for it early was to declare him as good as gone. It was a request that spoke louder than words, I want your wealth, not you. I cannot wait for you to be gone." The father stared at his son, the boy he had once held beneath the stars. He searched for doubt, for hesitation. He found none. From the doorway, the older son watched in silence. Tradition demanded he speak, defend the family's honor, intervene. He did not. His arms remained folded, his face unreadable. At last, the father rose. "It is yours," he said. He turned away before his son could see his eyes. Alone in his room, the father counted the coins himself. Each piece of silver told a story. A harvest survived, a drought endured, years of sweat beneath a merciless sun. His hands trembled as he divided the wealth of a lifetime. When he was finished, he called his son to sit with him. "Let me pray for you," he said. The son shifted impatiently, but did not protest.
The father placed a hand on his head. "May the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you. May he bring you safely home." His voice broke on the last word. He pressed the bag into his son's hands. Their fingers touched briefly, then separated. The next morning dawned gray and cold. Fog swallowed the road beyond the gate. The younger son left quickly. He did not pause at his mother's portrait. He did not look into his father's room. At the gate, the father stood motionless, watching his own heart disappear into the mist. He did not look back. That evening, 3 plates were set at the table. The older son removed one and sat in silence. The father could not eat. Later, alone, he collapsed to his knees and wept, deep, shaking sobs that echoed only against stone. From that day on, every morning before sunrise, he walked to the gate and watched the road, waiting. The city rose before the younger son like a dream carved in stone, towering walls, crowded streets, music spilling from every doorway. The air smelled of spice, roasted meat, and endless possibility. This was the life he believed he was meant for. He rented a house in the wealthy quarter. He wore robes dyed in purple and crimson. He hosted feasts that drew strangers eager for free wine and easy laughter. One man came often, a merchant's son with quick eyes and an easier smile. "You understand life," the man said one night. "Most men rot on their father's farms, but you know how to live." The words filled a hollow place in the son's chest. A letter arrived one evening, its handwriting unmistakable. He tossed it into the fire, unopened. The nights grew louder. Praise flowed freely. Yet sometimes, alone on his balcony, he stared at the stars and felt them drift farther away. Then the money began to vanish. He sold his furniture, then his clothes. Friends stopped calling. Music faded. And then the famine came. Fields withered. Bread became precious. The city turned cruel. He sought help from those he had once fed. Doors closed. Faces turned away. At last, hunger drove him beyond pride. "Can you feed pigs?" a farmer asked, eyes cold. "Pigs, unclean animals, the lowest work imaginable." "Yes," the son whispered. He slept in filth, ate scraps when they were given. One evening, he knelt beside a trough, reaching toward food even pigs refused. He saw his reflection in muddy water and recoiled. That night, he looked up. The stars were the same. "When you feel lost, look up," his father's voice echoed in his memory. "They will always lead you home." Home. The word broke him.
At dawn, hearing a man call for his child across the fields, love heavy in his voice, the son made his decision. I will go to my father. The journey was long, painful, humbling. On the final morning, he crested a hill and saw the estate. He did not know his father was already at the gate, watching, waiting. The moment he saw that broken figure on the road, recognition ignited his heart. And the father ran, dignity forgotten, arms wide, tears falling. The son braced for rejection. It never came, only an embrace. My son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found, the father cried. That night there was music, laughter, restoration. But outside the light, another son stood in shadow, and the father went to him too. The story ends with a question. Will you come inside? Because the road home is always open, and the Father is always watching.